Jobseeker is slashed today. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from news.com.au, which is discussing, well, the cuts to the coronavirus payment supplement today are getting slashed. But before we do that, I'm going to put a plug in for my new YouTube channel, HeiseSaysUS. If you're interested in US news, I release a video there every night, and I'll be plugging it for most of this week. You got to do it. So check that out. Find the link down below. So coronavirus job seeker supplements are getting cut today. So there's going to be $300 less in everyone's pocket. What effect will that have on the economy? Have people prepared for it, or is it going to be a shock? And I'm asking that question seriously, everyone. So, cuts to the coronavirus payment under the government extension. Australians will have their payments reduced today as the government winds back its coronavirus support. And this is how much you'll lose. I mean, there's a few things. Jobseeker is quite low, but you have to see it as an emergency measure to keep people from being destitute. When you look at how little savings you can actually have before you're even able to get Jobseeker, it obviously is an emergency measure. I think a lot of people, frankly, probably have the misconception that if they lose their job, they can instantly go onto it. They can instantly get it. But if you have, you've got to wait. If you've got a few $1,000s in savings, they want you to burn through that. It's emergency money. I honestly think the dialogue needs to shift to the understanding that most people won't be eligible for it. And hopefully, in that waiting period, you should get a job before you need it. But it's all changed now, hasn't it? Unemployment is at record high levels. Confidence is tanking. They're doing everything they can to just juice up the housing market, guys. Easier to borrow money now. So I think there are going to be some people that are going to, have a bit of a shock. More than 2 million Australians on welfare will have their payments reduced from today as the coronavirus supplement is slashed by $300. From Monday, JobKeeper recipients will feel the pinch as the federal government targets the fortnightly wage subsidy. Well, that's JobKeeper, but I'm interested in Jobseeker. Under an extension of both support measures, the coronavirus supplement will be reduced from $550 to $250 a fortnight for people receiving 9 eligible welfare payments, including Jobseeker, until December 31. JobKeeper will reduce to $1,200 a fortnight for people working more than 20 hours and $750 a fortnight for people working less than 20 hours. But the decision to remove money from the economy as Victoria remains in lockdown and the nation is in a deep recession has been condemned by the opposition. But see, I understand exactly why they're making this point. But the problem is, guys, you don't want Jobseeker and the supplement to be too high to limit, you don't want people trapped in poverty. And that's what this can be. It will dissuade them from going out and finding work, even though there's very little work to be found now. Maybe it'll encourage them to... It's just a bloody mess, guys, this whole situation. And this is because the government has just locked everything down, locked down the economy. Is it worth it? That's what we need to... That's what the dialogue needs to be. The question needs to be in the media. Is it worth it? Is the price that we're paying? Is the huge number of unemployed worth it? Is the huge number of businesses getting shut down worth it? Is the mental health price that we're paying, that people are copying, is it worth it? Labor Treasury spokesman Jim Chalmers on Thursday said it was absolutely mad for the government to withdraw support when the economy, and particularly the job market, was this weak. Well, you're going to have to, Jim. Here's the thing. You can't just keep it going forever. They have to remove the crutches. They have to push the little baby bird out of the nest. They have to get the props out of the slab underneath it so you can, get that suspended slab going. When the government stands up in the coming days and releases the final budget outcome, they should also release the modelling which says how many jobs will be lost by this premature withdrawal of support from an economy which still needs it, he said. Some businesses are recovering, many are not. The economy is too weak for the government to be cutting these important payments at this time. I mean, what do you think, everyone? Let's jump over let's jump over here and have a look at how much people are receiving. So here's Jobseeker. We pay Jobseeker payment every 2 weeks. The amount you get depends on your personal situation. And it includes if you have a partner, if you have children, how much income you and your partner have earned in the past 14 days. So if you're single with no kids, every fortnight you get $15.70. And I'm assuming that's before tax because, you know, they'll pay you money and then tax you on the money they give you. And that includes the $250 coronavirus supplement. So that's the reduced coronavirus supplement now. If you've got a kid, you get a little bit extra. You're at $862. That includes the $250. If you're single in your 60s or older, after 9 continuous months on payments, why does that matter? But I guess it does. $862. If you're partnered, $760. So there you go, guys. Centrelink is discouraging families or people from getting together because you get more money when you're single. You know, that 50 I mean, would people really break up and do the dodge to get extra money? Well, they probably would. So if you're single, the principal carer granted an exemption from mutual obligation requirements for any of the following: foster caring, non-parent relative care under a court order, homeschooling, distance education, or a large family. You get $1,043. That's the Jobseeker payment. But I guess you're not, you're exempt from the mutual obligations and the $250 supplement. So you can see it's going to be a hit to all of the people receiving this. They're going to cop it. We're not talking a lot of money here, but that is probably enough. It's probably enough, that reduction. You know, the supplement from 550 to 250. That's enough to take it under that, you know, $300 less, under that $1,000, under that $500 a fortnight people were getting, to maybe make them a bit tighter. I mean, would you want to be in the point where you're living off $500 a week and not working? So, the government has previously argued it is unsustainable to keep spending $11 billion a month on the coronavirus payment. At the end of the year, we'll revisit the rate of the Jobseeker coronavirus supplement, and we're leaning in to provide continued support, Treasurer Josh Frydenberg told ABC Radio National on Thursday. We recognize that people are doing it tough. And often, the thing is, it's through no fault of their own, guys. I understand both sides of it. I can see where Labour's coming from, where they want to keep people, well, they don't want people to be completely destitute. But I can also see is $11 billion a month either is going to have to be repaid through, well, inflation, where they just, you know, whittle away at the value of what we have, or future taxation, you know. So we're going to have to work that off, guys. This money is really important to them, but we also know the best thing we can do to help people who are on Jobseeker is to get them into a job. Yes, and how can you help people get jobs? You can reduce the uncertainty from the state. You can reduce the sovereign risk from the state shutting down your business at a whim. I mean, who would start up, who would, in Victoria now, who would employ someone, who would start up a business, who would take that risk? That's the problem. It's just, this is another thing you now need to factor into your business, into your emergency plan. What if the government locks down the economy? In a speech at Parliament House later in the day, Mr. Frydenberg said the government's fiscal strategy would move away from reducing debt and would instead make lowering the national unemployment rate its top priority. We will continue to invest in our workforce, particularly our young job seekers, by improving our skills, training and education system, he said. Well, our education system hasn't been doing too well. I hope this isn't just a repeat of the building education revolution. I'd love to see some actual innovation in our education system here in Australia. I mean, one thing, there's a game, you know, we've been watching, the kids and I, a computer game, a pixel artist, where he makes little characters. So Mina and Frederick have been quite interested in pixel art, so they've been following these online tutorials. And I thought, you know what, I think it'd be good if Mina would get some color theory. So I found a course on Linda on.com.au. Everyone in Brisbane from the State Library, you can get free access to this course. And a whole lot of libraries around Australia have access to all of the Linda Library. So we found a course on colour theory, and now she's doing it. And I told her, you've got to finish it so you get your little certificate because, you know, without schooling, or homeschooling or distance ed methods, you can show that to a teacher and say, look at this, I've got this certificate, I've done this entire course on color theory. So it's a different world now when a 7-year-old working from home can have access to you know, postgraduate level of educational lectures. And which is good. I mean, she wants to help you with color picking and things like that. But that just shows you that is what I would argue is innovative. Look at Khan Academy on YouTube. Look at the quality that they're doing. YouTube keeps advertising this Sydney teacher that's making maths fun and teaching it. What he did had nothing to do at all with the school. It was all his own initiative. I'm surprised he got away with it. So, in a speech at Parliament House later in the day, Frydenberg said, okay, we said that. We'll continue to invest in our education system. We also want reform to our industrial relations system to make it more flexible. Yes, that needs to happen. You need to incentivize people to employ. This will ensure that new and growing businesses can access the skills they need to thrive, create more opportunities for Australian workers. But the problem is, when it's cheaper and easier, we're now competing on a global stage, guys. You're now competing on a global stage. So there are going to be some industries that haven't really felt the crunch of global competitiveness. They're probably going to be smarter people on the other side of the world that can work remotely and do it cheaper. And they can probably live a better life for the same money than you could here in Australia. So, but Australian Greens Senator Rachel Seward said it was obscene the government was cutting $300 a fortnight from people on Jobseeker and youth allowance, while it's prepared to give tax cuts to high. I mean, okay, I can see why that she's coming from that. I mean, she's a Greens voter, so and a Greens member. So it's the optics that she's, you know, advocating to her base. Advocating to her base. Now, I can see that, but, I mean, tax cuts means more money in the economy too, guys. And it's not just high-income earners. How many people in Sydney or Melbourne are on a couple of $100,000 as a family? She said the cuts would condemn 1.8 million people to live on a payment below the poverty line. We call on Scott Morrison to revise this decision to cut the coronavirus supplement, the Senator said. The Australian Council of Social Services, CEO Cassandra Goldie, had also lobbied the government to extend the supplement at the existing rate until it had permanently raised Jobseeker to a rate that means people can cover the basics. I mean, here's the tough situation, guys. In one hand, you don't want people to be destitute in Australia, but in the other, you don't want, this isn't UBI, okay? This isn't UBI, Universal Basic Income. That's not the purpose of it. It is an emergency payment to help people get through tough times beyond when they haven't prepared. That's what it's there for. But, I mean, that's not how people see it. People just said, well, I pay my taxes, I get it. And I can understand. I can completely understand that. But now the government has pissed away your taxes and other crap, so they make it so difficult for people to get this. Would it be easy if we just ditched it and everyone had to have you know, income protection insurance? What about that? And maybe private charity to take care of the destitute. I can't see that happening in Australia. I really can't. But it would be nice if people had more taxes in their pocket. Maybe we extended the tax-free threshold or allowed people to access their super under emergency situations, which they have, but at tax-free as like you could now. You couldn't in the past. It's all messy, guys. You don't want these support systems to be so generous that people get disincentivized to work, then they become hardened and scarred, unable to get back into the workforce, then they're stuck in poverty, and then it becomes an intergenerational thing. That's the big risk. I'd say government needs to get out of the way and let more people start businesses, reduce the red tape, reduce the burden, reduce the BS. But I get the feeling it's going to be more of the same, guys. More of the same. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Are you receiving the Jobseeker? How are you going to handle taking that hit? Have you prepared for it? Or is it going to be a bit of a surprise? Do you think it's a bit too high? Or are there just no jobs out there at all? Or is it, you know, the good old line, is everyone going to go fruit picking? As always, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.